My name is Byron Q. My background is in traditional filmmaking, where I started from editing, shooting, directing music videos. And then I made my first feature back in 2010, indie filmmaker. That's kind of like my journey up until I started messing around with Unreal Engine and virtual production. A big part of why virtual production appealed to me was there were some stories that I wanted to tell that I wasn't able to do with indie filmmaking kind of budget. I never really thought about making a fantasy film or a sci-fi film. Although I love those type of movies, I don't know how to do special effects either. But once I saw virtual production, I was like, whoa, this is at least at that time, it seemed to me that it would be easy to kind of make a science fiction film now, just with this LED wall. But as I learned more about it, I was like, okay, it's a little bit more complicated than I thought. And to rent one of these stages, it was ridiculous how much it would cost. But yeah, I loved the technology of it, and I loved how Unreal Engine was free. I had tried After Effects, visual effects stuff. I did a little bit of it with music videos, but it was always a super tedious process. Whereas Unreal, it was very visual. You open that up and there's a big viewport and you can drag things in, and it was all in real time. So it was you're building your little scene, and that made sense to me. I tried coding, but I was never really good at it. But once I saw visual blueprints, I was able to actually do that. The way I found CG Pro was I saw this Unreal Engine Facebook group. Up until that point, I had just been self-learning through YouTube tutorials, and I kind of hit a brick wall with that. You don't get feedback, right, from tutorials. You can't ask questions or anything like that. That's why I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to level up in terms of education and really get live course. My project was this thing called Killing of a Machine, which is actually a film that I'm making right now. It was set in a post-apocalyptic AI wasteland, and there was about this collector who's looking for precious metal, and he comes across an android, and then the android wakes up and they start having this philosophical debate about why the robots killed off all the humans and how the guy hates machines. And I actually wanted to make that live action, but all the quotes or all the people I talked to, they were like, oh yeah, where are you gonna find an Arctic environment? And then on top of that, you have to have a CGI robot. So I was like, okay, I gave that up. But once I saw the virtual production stuff, I was like, maybe I can use that to make this sci-fi short. And that kind of just pushed me to keep working at it, to figure this thing out. That was my project in there. It was Arctic wasteland type thing. So out of that class, I had my little previs. It didn't look that great just because some of the animation wasn't quite there at that time. But for me, it worked because it showed me exactly how that movie was going to play out. And then with that, I did the ICVFX course, which really showed me how to bring that stuff onto an actual LED wall and how that would work on set. I had to find a stage that was affordable, which I did. Then I was able to form a team, and together we were able to actually make the movie. You really gain a network, you're joining a community. So you're not just your solo developer or filmmaker doing your own thing. Now you have other students that you've connected with through the class, and now everybody can help each other. Without the community supporting me on this project, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I really liked how you can just have a live labs type session where you're just asking questions, having that free kind of platform where we can just discuss issues or work out things. That was a huge part of it. I basically got every single question answered as we were going through the class. All the little bugs that were bugging me out on my project. And yeah, I'm super glad I signed up for it because I think out of that, it really elevated my trajectory.